There's so much to learn about the fretboard. In this video, I'm going to give you the essential tools. What I'm going to show you are the basic things you need to know to be able to play all over the neck. We'll break it down into 3 parts: notes, chords, and scales. First, the notes. Do you need to learn all the notes? No, not at first. Learning all the notes at first is overwhelming and unnecessary. There's only 12 notes in music. This guitar has 126 notes, but they're just the same 12 notes in different octaves around the neck. We're going to start with the 2 bottom strings, the 6th string and the 5th string, which is the E and the A. You also have the high E, which is the same as the low E, only 2 octaves higher in pitch. At first, we're not going to learn every fret on the guitar. We're just going to learn the natural notes. On the piano, that would be A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. We're going to leave out the flats and sharps. We'll start with the low open E. The 1st fret is an F. The 3rd fret is a G. Notice the fret markers on the 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret, and 12th fret. This is consistent with most guitars. The 5th fret is an A. That's where we start the beginning of the alphabet again. Let's go up the alphabet. A, B, C. We only go up a half step to get to C. This is like a piano. Between the B and the C notes, there's no black key. Between the other notes that had space between them, those would be like the black keys. Finishing it off, we go up to D and E. Once you get to the 12th fret, you've reached the octave. It's the same as when we started with the open E string. Same notes and spaces. E, F, G, A, B, C, and I don't have a D up here. That would be if you had a 22nd fret. This guitar only has 21 frets. That's the E string. We just memorized 7 notes, not all 12. You'll start to recognize the other ones. Here's how. If you have the natural notes memorized and I say play a G sharp, well, you know where the G is. And a sharp just means to go up 1/2 step. Okay, so now you have G sharp. If I said play G flat, okay, we find the G right here. And flat just means to go down 1/2 step. So right there you have 3 notes memorized. You go to the G, G sharp, or G flat. This is a great way to memorize all the notes on the neck. You can recognize the natural note, then you just have to look forward or backward to recognize a sharp or a flat. Not only do you have all this recognized on the low E string, but it's the same exact thing on the high E string. Let's move on to the A string. On the 5th string, we're going to start on the open A. The next note would be a B. That's the 2nd fret. 3rd fret C. Remember, on the piano, between the B and the C, there are no black keys, so you can't skip a fret. Then we'll go to the D, then the E. Remember, on the piano, there's no black key between the E and the F, so it's just a 1/2 step. We have the F here on the 8th fret. On the 10th fret, we have the G, and on the 12th fret, we repeat the A, which is the octave. Memorize this real good so you could play any natural note on both the E and the A strings. If you need to find a C or a D, you can easily find it on the 6th and 5th string. Here's a C on the 6th string. Here's a D on the 6th string. Here's a C on the 5th string. Here's a D on the 5th string. Same notes. The same rule applies to the 5th string. If you want a D sharp, look for the D and go up a 1/2 step for D sharp. Or you want a D flat, go down a 1/2 step. D, D sharp, D flat. We learned the 6th and the 5th string for a specific reason. Now that we know where the notes are, we're going to learn chords. We're going to look at 2 chord shapes, the E chord shape and the A chord shape. Here's an E chord shape, 1st position. Shift your fingers to play the same E chord, leaving your index finger free. Just like this. Move that chord up a 1/2 step and bar the F root like a capo, and you have an F chord. Now go up to G, and you have a G chord. Why is that a G? Well, look where I'm barring. Remember the G note on the 6th string. If I bar the 5th fret, we know that's an A. So if I play the E shape meaning coming from this E chord, if I play the E shape on the A note, it makes an A chord. I just want to show you, so when you hold this E chord first position, and you want to switch your fingers to here, you're just basically now using your ring finger on the 5th string, your pinky on the 4th string, and your middle finger on the 4th string here. I mean the 3rd string. Just replacing this position so that you can free up your index finger so you can shift it up. This is important to remember. Whatever note you bar this E chord shape on, that's the chord you're on. Like A, if you look down on your fretboard, you see I'm on A, so that's an A. B, C, it's a D. E again, the octave higher. E, F. The same principle applies to the A chord shape, first position. With the open 5th string, okay, you have the A shape right here. You just have to replace your fingers with your ring finger or pinky finger, like this, and move up to B. So you can use your ring finger like I am, or your pinky. Just depends on whatever is more comfortable with you. This is more of a proper technique right here. But sometimes you'll find yourself playing it easier. It's harder for me to do it like this, but if you're up like this, which you might find yourself doing sometimes, then your pinky could come in handy. But I tend to always play with my ring finger. You could slide up the same shape to bar another note on the string. Now on this chord, I only play the 4 middle strings, 5, 4, 3, and 2. This is called an A chord shape because the basic chord shape A is like this. So here's the B chord. Now I could slide up my index finger to the C, have a C chord, to the D chord, and so on. There's an E chord, up a half step, F chord, up a whole step, G chord, up a whole step, up to the octave again. You could play a G chord on the 6th string and on the 5th string. You really get different sounds using these 2 chord shapes. Here's a G chord, 6th string, G chord, 5th string. So one guitar player could be playing, another guitar player can play. What's really cool is just like the natural notes, you can recognize the natural chords too and move them down or up to play flats or sharps. I'll play a G chord, play a half step down, and a G flat. Play a half step up, you have a G sharp. It's the same thing on the 5th string. Play G up here, half step down, G flat, half step up, G sharp. Here's the D, 5th string, half step down, G flat, half step up, G sharp. So now you know all the chords on the E string, 6th string, E string, low E, and the 5th string, A string. Let's do minor chords. The thing about minor chords is, once you have these major chords down, you're just switching a few fingers. If I'm playing an A chord with the E shape, I just lift my middle finger, now it's a minor chord. All that happened is I'm taking the 3rd interval, that's major, and I'm making it minor. So a major would be roots, 2nd, major 3rd. A minor would be root, 2nd, minor 3rd. Major, minor. It's as simple as that. If you're playing the A chord shape, let's play a D chord. If you have your index finger on the D notes, play the A minor chord shape. So here's an A minor chord. You You just adjust your fingers so that your ring finger is on the 4th string, your pinky is on the 3rd string, and your middle finger is on the 2nd string. Just bring that shape, this A minor shape, all the way up to a D. Then you have a D minor. So essentially it's the same thing, you're just lowering the major third. D major, D minor, D major, D minor. Here's a C major on the 5th string, C minor, 5th string. Here's a C major on the 6th string, C minor, 6th string. With this information, you're going to be able to play most of the songs you want to play, regardless of the genre of music. Most songs are just major and minor chords. One last thing I want to show you about chords is the dominant 7 chord. It's very popular in rock and blues. If you're playing a G major on the 6th string, you just lift your pinky, and you have a G7. Listen how bluesy it sounds. You can also put your pinky here on the B string. Play a D major on the 5th string. To make it a D7, you'll put your pinky on the 2nd string and your ring finger on the 4th string. Here's a D, D7. Another way to play the D7 chord is to bar where my ring finger is with my index finger and go up 1 fret on the 1st string. Just play the top 4 strings. So here's a D, here's a D7. D, D7, D, D7. The last thing we'll do is talk a little bit about scales. That will bring this all together. Think of the minor pentatonic scale. If you play an A major chord on the 6th string, you have your A minor pentatonic scale that's connected to that shape. Look where my bar is. On the 5th fret, every note I touch on that bar is the minor pentatonic scale. So you can tie that minor pentatonic scale to that chord shape. If you went up to B, play B minor pentatonic. Or C, D, F, G, I'm not saying you'd always play that scale over that chord, but you could really tie it in to it, especially in a blues context. Well, what about the A shape? If you play a G chord on the 5th string up here, you now have the G minor pentatonic pattern 4 connected to this shape. Here's pattern 4. If I play the D chord down here, 5th string, here's the D minor pentatonic, 4th position. You can get into a lot of different scales, arpeggios, and modes, but this is the essentials that you should get under your fingers first. With just this knowledge, you'll know more than most guitar players, and you'll be able to sit in and jam with different musicians. It will also be very helpful for your writing. I release a new guitar video every week. I also go live every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We usually play a song or create some loops that we could improvise over while applying some useful theory and scales. Please tune in. I'd love to chat with you. I also go live every Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook. I play original songs and fun covers, So please join the fun at Facebook/JerryCherryBand. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. And remember, be cool, be kind, and be cherry.